Listen up, listen up. It's time to start. It's time to start. I'm Corey Myers, your host from Level Up Business Mastery. And today we're going to talk a little bit about delegation, automation, all of those things help your business get to the next level. Now, this is a pre-recorded video this time. We're not going live in the morning because Robert is ill still. We want him to get better. And then also I have an appointment during this time. So I've pre-recorded this. Please still let us know where you're watching from. Let us know what you want to know, and we'll get back to you with the questions and answers. So if you're watching on Facebook, please, if you're joining on Facebook, please go to StreamYard.com/Facebook and register your account so that you can post a comment and we can see your face. Now, today, I'm not going to be able to pull up any comments because it's pre-recorded, but this will set you up for success for next time. You don't have to do this every time, just the first time. So, guys, please head over to the StreamYard.com/Facebook and get registered. Guys, we have 8 days left in this 8-week business growth intensive offer, and I can't tell you if we sold something or not because we're pre-recording this. So I don't know how many seats we have left. I don't know how many seats. I've got several meetings this afternoon. And I say this afternoon. I had several meetings yesterday, right? So I don't know. We'll see. I think we're going to have some really great time talking to people today. And today is Friday, so it's Friday. It's the weekend. If you're a business owner, you know that there's no such thing as the weekend. But it is the weekend nevertheless. Let's get started. Let's talk a little bit about your business. Just like I did yesterday, because I'm solo, I'm going to keep this up. I don't know which direction I need to point, but I'm going to keep that up the whole time. I mean, we could just hide my face and just do that. That would work for me. Just kidding. We're not going to do that. All right. So we want you to first take an assessment of what you want to do with your business. If you want to automate, if you want to delegate, all these things, you have to take an assessment. You have to look at what your processes look like. Before you delegate, before you automate, you need your processes documented. We talked a little bit about this yesterday on Thursday, and today we're going to do the same thing because it's so important to document your processes. That's what I do for a lot of businesses. Is all I'm doing is going in and documenting the process. Okay, how do you do this? Okay. Right? I'm a little iPad. How do you do that again? Yeah? Oh man, we're already drawing. We're drawing. I didn't even do anything. It's just saying, hey, you got a notepad here. I didn't even know I could do that. That's cool. So figure out what your business is doing in the broad scheme of things. Figure out what your business is doing and write it down. Make sure you're documenting it. And then you can then start to parcel that out. Hey, this piece of the process, you know, who makes the caps? Well, we make the caps because it's all one thing. We're gonna make the cap. We're gonna put the, or maybe this is a manufacturer that makes the packaging, and you get it shipped in, and these caps come separately, and you pour the wax into the a chapstick. I don't know how this is manufactured. But it helps out, right? So, however you manufacture things, however your process is going, I know our process, we want to draw people in through attention and things like that. And we want to provide value to them. These are touch points. And then eventually we want to have a discussion with you, with the client. And then we want to get you into one of our programs. We want to find the best program for you. And maybe there's no program that's the best for you right now. We want to determine that in the course of a meeting. And then we want to put you into that category. If you are doing well and things like that, but we want to get you to the next level, maybe it's this service that we want to provide to you. So each one of those things have been parceled out. And eventually we're going to we're not doing any ads right now. We're growing completely organically. But eventually part of the process will be taken over by ads. And that's the attracting side, right? So the attracting side for us is going to be through advertisement. And that's going to be very effective because we already know what we're doing. We've done this before. My dog has a cone. She hurt her foot and we got staples. She cut her foot. So if you hear large plastic scraping noises, it's because my dog is in a cone. Poor Floki. But take an assessment, figure out what you got going, and then you can start to parcel things out, right? We have a process. We already have a process, so improve the process that you already have. How can we do this better? Right now, we're looking at a software that we just discovered. We're already building our online curriculum on a platform. We love the platform, but this other thing does it. Maybe it does it better. Let's improve on what we already have. Now, I would rather do the move right now before we get a bunch of people into the platform and then have to migrate everybody over. That doesn't sound fun to me. Does it sound fun to you? Because it doesn't sound fun to me. So we're going to do that. If we find that this other program is better, we're going to do that before we start dragging people into our mess. Improve on what you already have. Take that process, start to parcel those things out. Here, John, you get to do this, and Susie, you get to do that, and we're going to automate that. We're going to do this. Look at what you have. Take that assessment of what you've got, and then improve on what you already have. A lot of times that takes someone like me to come into your business and say, why are you doing it that way? That's 20 years old. Why are we doing it that way? Here's a much easier, cheaper, faster way to do it. And that's what I get paid for, to save you money, to save you time, to make you more efficient. So improve on what you already have. And I think this is one of the most important things I can say today. So grab a pen and paper. What are your core competencies? Figure those out. Your core competencies: customer service and product quality, right? Customer experience and product quality. We're talking about Starbucks, of course. How would you ever guess? I think I've talked about this before in the group, and you can find more in the guides section of the Level Up Business Mastery Facebook group. We've got guides. You could probably find this conversation that I'm about to have with you about Starbucks in that guide. Check it out. What I'd like to say is it's probably in the strategic planning, because we talk about the core competencies. And we say, hey, look, if you are going to control the product, you need to be manufacturing it. If you need to control the experience of the client receiving the product, then you need to open up a storefront, a brick and mortar that delivers that to your clients. That's the Starbucks model, right? Then we go a little bit further deep and away from the customer experience and just deliver the product by selling it to Costco, Walmart, HEB, all of these grocery stores across the country are able to take Starbucks and put it on their shelf because that is still something that they are somewhat in control of. Now, Starbucks can also sell someone else's stuff in their store. So they'll have those mugs. They didn't make the mugs. Somebody else made the mugs with a Starbucks branded license. They made it for them. Starbucks said, yes, you can use our logo. We're going to be the only people you make that particular mug for. We're going to sell it in all of our stores. They don't have control over the product because they didn't manufacture it. However, they've got control of what they put on their shelves. So in a way, they do have control over the product. And then they're able to control the environment in which it is presented and purchased and used in a lot of cases. Bring in your Starbucks travel mug and we'll fill it up for you. And then you can sit in our store and read the newspaper. I don't know what. Do people read the newspaper anymore? I don't. You can read the news online on your iPad. There you go. So, what are your core competencies? Figure those out. One of the things that you could do that would negatively affect you and your business is to take your core competencies and say, here, you do this. You don't want to do that. You want to leave your core competencies in your house. But what this also helps you do is take all of those things that are not your core competency. Your marketing. Does your marketing have to be done in-house? Could you hire a marketing firm? Your billing. Your billing can be delegated to a department that does billing and whatever. Logistics can be handled by Swift trucks. Get your logistics going with Swift or another company. I'm just picking on Swift today. But how do you delegate? How do you get that stuff to work for you? You have to delegate those things that are not your core competencies and keep the things that are your core competencies. You don't want to let anybody else do the things that you hold near and dear to the success of your business, aka your core competencies. Can I say core competencies one more time? Who's responsible for each touch point along the way? We've taken our assessment. We looked at the process. We've got it parceled out to say this is someone's responsibility. Whose responsibility is it? Is it automated? Is it delegated? Is it outsourced already somehow? Whose responsibility is it? And then really compare that to your core competencies. Is if it's delegated and it's in-house and it's a core competency, you're on the right track. If it's outsourced and it's a core competency, bring it back. Boeing lost huge market share to Airbus back in the day because they started outsourcing everything. And I believe they're based up in Washington State, in Seattle or something. And really, that used to be a hub. But what they did is they would outsource their design and their engineering to India. I believe it was India. Forgive me if I'm wrong, whoever was actually doing this. And then they would outsource this other part manufacturer to a different company, or a country, China, I don't know. And then they would, put the plane together, put the engine together over in Washington. Well, what would happen is the design specifications would go over to India. They would design it. I mean, you can look at it online and say, oh, that looks good. Then they send it over to China and manufacture the darn thing. The manufacturing would say, oh, yeah, that looks good. And then they'd send a sample. And, oh, that looks good. And then they'd get it back over to Boeing headquarters and be putting this thing together, and it wouldn't fit. Or something would be off. Well, now we got to go through the rigmarole of doing the whole process over again. And now we've got to call and communicate and back and forth and get approvals again for the thing that we already did. And I call that touching the package twice. We don't want to touch the package twice. So who's responsible for each touch point is very, very important. So you may have someone that is responsible for the touch point, but you're delegating or automating the act of doing so. Does that make sense? Someone's in charge of it. Someone is overseeing the process. You still need that person inside of your company. That person is then going to be able to correct any errors that they see up front. So who's responsible for that touch point? That's very important. And that touch point could be anything from and I'm not just talking about client touch points, customer touch points, anything dealing with the client. I'm talking about manufacturing touch points, shipping and logistics touch points. Who are we talking to? Who are our stakeholders in how we operate? Who are our suppliers? Who are our transportation people? Who are our designers and our engineers? We're outsourcing engineering to India. That better not be our core competency as a company. And so Boeing lost a huge market share to Airbus. And I believe this was 90s and into the 2000s. And Airbus was the biggest airplane company in the world for quite a number of years. Boeing has, I believe, since surpassed them, but they may be neck and neck. It may depend on the year. I haven't really looked too far into them in recent history. So who's responsible for each touch point? Make sure you understand that somebody still has to be responsible, even if you delegate, automate, outsource, offshore, any of that. Make sure somebody's responsible. So take note of that when you do your assessment. I still don't know which side of the screen I'm on. Right there. When you do your assessment. Right? Do your clients expect a personal touch at this stage? I'll tell you this, anecdotally, I got in trouble. I got scolded because I sent an automated email after one of my meetings. Now, I haven't been scolded since. And I still send the automated emails. Sorry, I don't have time to. I want you to understand that I am trying to convey that, yes, I enjoyed our time. I would love for you to ask any questions afterwards. I send that 24 hours after the meeting, and it's automated. It looks like it comes from me. But if I have to do something over and over and over and over and over and over and over, and it's the same thing, all I'm doing is changing your name, I'm going to automate that. Sorry. Did that offend you? I got scolded for that. Sorry, I just don't have time to do follow-up emails. If I did follow-up emails, I'd have a virtual assistant do it anyway, and it would just cost me more money to do it. Because I don't have time. We'll just act like I typed it out. I'm not going to actually type it out. Sorry. Don't have time. I am a busy person. So, do clients expect a personal touch at this touch point, this client touch point, where you might be trying to automate it? Now, I got scolded. I want to say this was 2019, 2020, pre-pandemic, maybe sometime in that zone. And really that person wanted to be a business consultant. They have no qualifications. And they thought that they did. It was really hard for me to just keep my mouth shut and say, yeah, come on, be a competitor of mine. And I hope they're doing well. Fine, whatever. There's plenty to eat for everyone. But if you're not qualified to do something, don't do it. Do your clients expect a personal touch at this stage? They did at that stage. They did from that area. Lubbock, Texas is a weird area. They expect things that no one else expects. They expect you to bend over backwards to do things for them. So if you're dealing with somebody from Lubbock, Texas, maybe send them a personal email as opposed to an automated one. However, I stopped caring about that because guess what? After 2020, everybody's automated anyway. Everybody's sending automated emails. Everyone is sending Zoom invites instead of in-person coffee meetings or any of that. So figure out what your other companies are doing and try to follow the trend and make sure that you're taking care of business. I know it used to be, I used to send Zoom invites or like, hey, sign up on my calendar. And people were like, well, what time are you available? No, click the link and put yourself on my calendar. I'm not going to go back and forth with you. And that was like a novel concept back in 2017. You know, nobody was doing that. Of course, the application existed. So I did it. I was like, that seems like it would save me a lot of time if somebody could just click a link, sign up for a networking appointment with me, and we could meet. And I even had in-person meetings for some of that. And I used to meet at Starbucks, but which Starbucks did we meet at? Meet at the closest one to you, right? Well, guess what? The closest one to you, maybe I've got a 10 o'clock and an 11 o'clock. And they're all the way across town. Can't do that. So I ended up getting a membership at a club and we would just do coffee meetings there. So my next meeting would come and bump the other meeting out. Hey, this is my next meeting at 11. Oh, we'll all let you go. Great. Fantastic. And I would just sit there and drink coffee and it didn't cost me anything extra because coffee came with the membership. So it was really, I improved on what I already had. And there was levels to what I did, right? So I could do a Zoom call. I could do the Zoom call from the club. They had Wi-Fi and they had a little office. I could do, they had coffee. So I could do a Zoom call from the club. I could do a live meeting from the club and I could do things like that. So what other companies are doing right now are like just replicate what they're doing. My company, we use Acuity now, Squarespace scheduling, and we're in full swing on that. And then I think Robert uses a different application, but same thing. You know, you pick a time. There's Calendly. There's all kinds of things. What are other companies doing? Just figure it out. Are there levels to what you can do? Yeah. So I learned that going to Starbucks all over town wasn't really right for me. So I needed to automate some things and tighten some things. And so the club ended up being, I want to say it was like $50 or $75 a month. And I could just go up there and have coffee meetings. Then I could have lunch there too for relatively inexpensive. But $50 a month, I was there every day. It's like a gym membership, but it's an office. And you can do that with a shared space or an office or any of that stuff anyway. I know some great people up in Frisco and some other people out in different areas. And we meet there and we have a really great time. And that's their office and it's a co-working space and all that. So are there levels to what you can do to automate, delegate, and otherwise get that off of your plate? Absolutely. You can automate something and put some technology behind it. And then you can also hire a virtual assistant or a real assistant or a real employee to do whatever that needs to be done. So there's always levels to what you can do. And there's always avenues you can do two things at once. So if you have just an automated, I have an ad that leads you to a link to schedule with me, or I also have a virtual assistant who's going to reach out to people and get them to schedule with me. And so we've got a double team kind of thing going. Plus, we've just got my website. So if anybody stumbles upon my website, they can schedule with me. We got 3 avenues that somebody can schedule with me. Then I got Facebook. If Facebook, I got groups, I got pages, you can schedule with me through there, right? Perfect. Are there levels? Absolutely. So figure out what the levels are to automate each parcel of your process and get that done. Sometimes the level is going to be more expensive than the other. What is the automation or delegation going to do to your schedule and your team's schedule? How does that help you be more productive? So that's the ultimate goal, right? If it's not going to help you be more productive, then just keep doing it. More than likely, it's going to help you be more productive because you're not going to have to do that thing over and over and over, like send emails to follow up for appointments. If I did that, I would spend, let's say, 30 minutes sending 5 emails because I'd get distracted and whatever else. I know me. I know my ADHD, right? So if I, at the end of each day, sent emails out on every appointment that I had, I could do that. I could absolutely add that to my schedule. Take me 30 minutes, maybe an hour, depending on how many meetings I had. And of course, I would want to talk about each one. I would say, hey, I really liked what you said about this. So I'd have to refer to my notes. It might take me a while to write those 5 emails because I want them to be personal at that point. If it's important for me to be personal, then I'll do that. But what does that do, freeing up 30 extra minutes? I've spent 30 minutes recording this video so far. And I wasn't writing emails. I wasn't responding to texts. Speaking of texts, I've got lots of texts that I need to respond to as soon as I end this video. All right, let's talk about off-the-shelf software versus custom software. Yet 99.9% of you do not need custom software. Yes, having your own app sounds really great. However, there are companies out there that will just white label. They've got an app designed and you just put your logo on there and your colors and voila, you can actually add it to the iTunes store or the Android store. Gross. I'm being judgmental. I should stop that. But anyway, you can add it to the Android or the Apple store, and you can actually get your app out. I know what is that called? The Small Biz Highlight. She has a TV show on Roku. She has an application. She has a group online. Killing it. Absolutely killing it. She uses HoneyBook to schedule everything. And it schedules the live show so that, like, if I want to be on her show, I just go into HoneyBook, schedule it, answer the questions, bing, bing, bing. It's automated the whole way. All she's got to do is show up and talk to Corey. And it was a great show. I did 2 shows with her. I did one for the Roku thing, and I did one for the just her Facebook group, I guess. And it was, fantastic. The live show on the Facebook. And then she's in the Army, I believe, or Air Force, one of the two. And so it's fantastic working with other businesses and seeing what they've got going. She had a lot of help. She somehow, which I believe she worked really, really hard. So don't discount that at all. But I do believe she had some luck in finding some people that were like, hey, we want you to be, this is awesome. The work that you are showing us is awesome. We want you to be a member of our group, and we're going to give you this and this and this for free, and we're going to set you up for success. And I think she got a lot of help that way. and I'm super excited that she did. I'm not saying that in a negative way, but you've got to understand that she's using off-the-shelf software, and she is set up for success. It's awesome what she's got going on over there at the Small Business Highlight. In fact, go check that out. Small Biz Highlight. Go check her out. She's actually, I believe, deployed right now. And she's launching, she's just doing previous episodes. She uses StreamYard. What she's doing is cool. So look for off-the-shelf software. One of the things that you can do as well, like processes, if you have the same process over and over and over, there's programs out there like Asana and Wrike and just any type of project management software that allows you to make and automate the process out. So this email is going to get sent to you at this date. You start the project on here, 10 days later, this task is going to pop up on your process tree. What? That's cool. Hey, did you send an email to the client 10 days? Every 7 days? Hey, send an email to the client giving them an update. Check. Easy. I sent an email to the client, updated them, checked the thing off the list. Fantastic. Hey, did you get an approval from the client? Check. It's automated. You just put your checklist in a thing and it gives it to you. Every time you get a client, it just gives you the checklist again for that new client. You just go in and tell it, hey, I got a new client. Hey. And guess what? You can automate that by having, let's say, whatever your CRM is. If you put that client into a stage, you let's say HubSpot. You get HubSpot and that client goes into a stage. Now they're on this new email list because they're in that stage. They're a buyer now. They're not a prospect, they're a buyer. Then automatically add something to Wrike, Asana. What's the Kanban board one that's like very popular? Anyway, it doesn't matter. One of your project management, and then it just goes bink, adds you a bunch of tasks to onboard that client. Hey, did you send them this PDF? And you can even attach that PDF so that you've got it in front of you. Hey, did you, or put a link in there to your Google Drive so you can send that over. Put a link into your, if you use Dropbox. It's all automated, off-the-shelf software. Use it. Set it up for success. Get it right. That off-the-shelf software is so important. And if something doesn't connect, you've always got Zapier. Now, Zapier is really cool. You know what I should do? I should just pull up my thing, right? And just let's show you Zapier and show you, like, we're just gonna go off on a random tangent here. Share screen. We want the window. All right. Look at that bad boy. Cool. Look for off-the-shelf software. We already know what we're talking about. Zapier, they've got a new homepage. They've got a new logo. Wow. All right. So Zapier's got a new logo. It used to have like a little spark thing, like a little asterisk. But I guess it's got a laser beam now. I don't know. Very cool. Very cool. Save new Gmail attachments to Google Drive. Anytime someone sends me an attachment, it'll just automatically save it to Google Drive. We can put it in the downloads. That sounds like a great zap. I might actually do that sometime. Trello is the one I was thinking of. Well, let's look at my zaps. Here's another thing you can do. You can send, if you get a news feed or something, okay, Sherpa welcome message. This is for when I was using Slack for my Sherpa program. We don't need that anymore. Trailhead, sharing phone. Yeah, we can turn those off. Super feed to Buffer. So when I was using Buffer, I would have an RSS feed that would go to Buffer and post news articles onto my Facebook page for Gravere Strategists. It went haywire. I did not do that right somehow, and it just was like it would post like 15 things all at once. That's not what I want. I want a drip. So there was like this hourglass timer thing in there, and that still didn't really do a whole mess of good. And so anyway, Zapier is a fantastic program. Buffer, LinkedIn, Trello, Monday.com, Acuity scheduling. If someone sends me an Acuity scheduling thing, it needs to go into my Google contacts, right? Easy stuff. Hootsuite. I remember using Hootsuite. So here's all these apps that I don't use anymore. Oh, we also had MemberSpace when I was trying to get a membership club on my website. Didn't really do well on that, so I went ahead and shut that down. We didn't have enough clients that I felt like we had like 3 people in there, and I was like, hey, here's your money back. This isn't a community. I wanted to sell them the community, not just the content. And you can't really have a community with 3 people. So anyway, Zapier, by the way, you guys get like some back end view of my business, which is abnormal for a business consultant to share this much. Just FYI. But yeah, so there was a lot of, this is all Lubbock Consulting. Yeah. So this is back when I had Lubbock Consulting, which I'm wearing again with the different directions. Where is the thing? So these are all things that are automated. One of the other things that I love are the extensions. As you may know, I run Traction Graphic Design. And so a lot of times I'll be like, I like that color, which is cool. So I got Colorzilla over here. And what you can do is just go find whatever color you want. Okay, I like that. And that's RGB 6169146 or Hex 3D4592. And we can just exit out that. There's all kinds of extensions here. Off-the-shelf software. Google Voice. I already have Google. Might as well use the Google Voice and have a phone number that isn't just my cell phone number. And so I can put Google Voice on all my devices. And anytime somebody calls me on Google Voice, I get it on my Apple Watch. I get it on my phones. I get it on my iPad. And then I have 2 phone numbers for other things, for my Traction Graphics, for my home and my business. And so I have 8 phone numbers for different things, and I get an alert, and that's how that works. So automate your things. More extensions. Let's talk about Speechify, great text-to-speech app. Weave a highlighter. That's what you see when I highlight something and it gives me some colors. What it does, what's fantastic about Weave a highlighter is I can, and this is something that I was like, we need an app. I need to build this app. I need to build this app. I need to build this app. And finally, I just found it. Somebody had finally built this app. And so I can highlight that. And actually, when I go over here, it actually saves this. I can actually add a note, I believe. Yeah, so I can take a note. I like this. That's not what I want. Anyway, something happened and I clicked something. Anyway, but I can highlight something and give it a note. I think I clicked on that to put the note in, and that's what it took me somewhere. I like this. And it actually puts it in my research folder. And so I've got, don't show this guy. And so I've got these things that I've got in here. Level Up Business Mastery Facebook. I highlighted it, said 905 members. And we can get rid of that. I just did that for somebody else. I was showing somebody else. But Weeva, one of my favorite tools when I'm doing research and I just want to I'm going through, I highlight something, I throw it in here, and then what I do is I will get some more off the shelf software or Microsoft Word or whatever, and throw that in there and create my document based on that research. Not only that, but I've got the link to where it was, right? What is a mastermind group? We were researching that. I got one highlight of just the definition. I like it's also great copyright, right? So fantastic application. Love it. We've got Forest Stay Focused. It's kind of a 10-minute. I can't remember what this is called, but they do 10-minute count. You do a period of time working on some things. Anyway, we could go over my software list all day. Off-the-shelf software is where it's at, and we want to make sure that you are getting the best off-the-shelf software that you can possibly get. And so go grab it. Okay, let's move on to virtual assistants now. Virtual assistants are fantastic things. Virtual assistants are people. And you can have a virtual assistant over in Seattle or Austin, Texas, or New York, or the Philippines. I personally have a great team that I work with. So if you'd like a referral, they're only taking referrals. I can see if that might be right for you, and I'll give you the referral and I'll send you the email. But one of the things that we might use a virtual assistant for is something that no one's ever going to see, no one's ever going to know about, but it needs to be done. And it needs to be done at a high level by an intelligent person, but you want it to cost as little as possible. Now, I'm all about paying people a fair wage, and I think the wages that we pay these virtual assistants equates to a large salary in the United States. However, we're paying $8-9 an hour. And so I'm getting a higher skilled person for $8 or $9 an hour. And that's actually providing very well for their family. They're basically getting 6 figures pay in their country for stuff that you're never going to see. We just need it done. And we need multiple people doing it. So those things are very, very outsourceable to virtual assistants. Offshoring is what that's called. But at the end of the day, virtual assistants are fantastic. I talk with them quite a bit, and they don't cost us a whole lot of money on the US dollar, but we're providing for their family. We're putting food on their plate, and we're doing it in a fair way for them. If I were to buy someone's time in the United States for $32 an hour versus them, I could pay them $16 an hour, just half of that. And I would get a highly skilled, a super highly skilled person. I might even be able to hire a doctor or a lawyer for that over there, right? So keep that in mind. Virtual assistants are very, very great. And if you need a virtual assistant, do not hesitate to reach out to me. Like I said, my virtual assistant agency that I use is only taking referrals. And so I would have to kind of vet you before or I would at least have to meet you. Then I could send a joint email over and say, hey, I want you to meet, and go from there. Outsourcing. So we just talked about that, outsourcing a little bit over to a virtual assistant. But let's talk about outsourcing a task like graphic design or marketing or advertising to a different company. Now, one of the things that's really great about having an advertising agency or a marketing consultancy or a marketing agency that works for you, they're outside of your organization. They're going to be seeing what their other clients are doing or what's working. they've done this for a number of years. You want to be very careful with, especially with marketers nowadays. A lot of people get into marketing and sales because they're good at just making money right off. If you don't have any Facebook ads and someone puts some Facebook ads out and they happen to get some traction, then they're going to be like, look what I did for you. You could have done that yourself and got the same amount of traction, because they're not doing anything new or novel or understanding the market. They're just doing something that you weren't previously doing. So keep that in mind when you're outsourcing. Don't hire someone that doesn't have any qualifications, doesn't have any experience. Make sure you interview them. If you would like me to interview your marketing agency, I will happily do that. And depending on your level of clientele, I may even do that for free just to protect you as a client. So just keep that in mind. When you're outsourcing, make sure that they're qualified, make sure that they know what they're talking about, make sure that they have some type of background in marketing, sales, whatever it is, and outsource those things. Lots of companies are doing it. In fact, a lot of marketing departments that are internal to companies outsource all of the tasks. They just come up with the theory and the thought and say, we want to do this. That's a great idea. And then they hire a graphic designer to make all the things. And then they hire somebody to execute that vision. So keep that in mind. Outsourcing isn't a bad thing. You can do that within the United States if that's what you're comfortable with. Outsourcing to someone like myself, Robert Lyon, to marketing agencies, to sales agencies. We are considering either, what do we want to do? Do we want to hire our internal sales team, or do we want to have a sales team that is external that we can just turn on and turn off? Right? We'll just pay you per month. It's a monthly thing, and then as soon as we get too many sales, we'll just turn that off. But the next month, we might want to turn you back on with 2 people instead of 5. Something like that, right? Just turn those levers. Be lever centric. Make sure you've got levers that you can turn on and turn off. That outsourcing is fantastic. If you need help outsourcing, or you need help with figuring out your outsourcing, let us know. Robert and I are experts. We've helped lots of companies do this. I know I have. I know Robert has talked about that with me. We have helped other companies to get to the stage where they're scaling heavily. So we're talking about scaling yesterday. We're talking about outsourcing today. That's a mechanism to help you scale. This outsourcing, the virtual assistants, these are mechanisms to help you scale. Internal hiring. I love employees. I love to have a team that is like with me at all times. But I also hate employees. I hate people being around me at all times. So there's a love-hate with this, and I'll tell you that I love having a team that I can say, this is my team, I can count on them, I can trust them, this is going to happen, and this is that. I would say only hire internal if you're planning on delegating the internal core competency tasks that you should not give to a virtual assistant, that you should not outsource, and that you should not automate. That's the only person, and that's why this is in order. That's the only person, or that's the only task in your process that you should hire internally for. Or oversight of an automation, a virtual assistant, or an outsource. So your marketing head might task 2 marketing firms working with you. One does all your social media. One does all of your pay-per-click ads. and maybe you have 5 different marketing agencies. Somebody's in charge of all of that. Perfect. That's an internal hire all day. You don't want a virtual assistant managing that. And then the last option is stop doing it. The reason you would stop doing it is it doesn't match your core competencies at all. You're not, let's again, back to Starbucks. You're not manufacturing the thing, and you're not providing the customer service in that thing. So why are you doing it? Stop doing it. Does this make you money? Then stop doing it. I know it sounds easy. It's not. It's not easy to stop doing something. I just love to do this. One of the things you can stop doing right now is sending an exorbitant gift. When you have a $100 client, you spend $150 on their gift. I just corrected a business for that. Sorry for throwing that business under the bus, but I just, like, Tuesday. Today's Friday. Actually, I'm recording this on Thursday. Tuesday is when I corrected a business. They were sending these gifts, and I was like, these are wonderful gifts. How much does this cost? It's $125. How much does this customer spend with you? $100. But they'll spend more. You sure? Do you have them under contract? How often do they spend more? About, 30% of the time. I don't know why you would do that. So stop doing the thing altogether. If it's not making you money, it's not part of your core competencies, you don't need to do it to get your clients, then stop doing it. Guys, I want to take a moment to talk about this thing we got going on, this one-time offer. Thanks for sticking with me on this recorded thing. Stop doing the thing altogether was the last thing. Guys, we want you to automate. We want you to do it right. Let us know if you need help. We're here to help. This is one of my specialties. I love this stuff. I love helping people with this stuff. So our one-time offer, we're doing 8 weeks with the trusted strategy advisory of Corey Myers and Robert Lyon. Personalized goal setting. We're going to meet with you before this 8 weeks even starts to actually hash out a set of goals for your business. It's a thumbprint methodology. We're going to come in and give you a custom set of goals. Not everybody's going to have the same set of goals. So this isn't some kind of like course where everybody's a robot. We're going to eliminate doubt in your business by making you more robust. You're going to be able to see the future, not literally, but we're going to plan ahead for the future and make sure that you're adding those pads and those bumpers and things like that to keep that market out of there. Don't let the market affect you. Do what you got to do. We want you to generate new revenue. That's, that should be almost number 1 on this list. Generate new revenue. We want you guys to generate new revenue. We got 8 days left of this one-time offer. We're not going to do these one-on-one strategy sessions with you in the future. We can't. We physically cannot. We don't have the time. We're going to do it for these first 8 business owners because we want them to generate new revenue. We want to eliminate doubt in their business. We want success more than anything else. We absolutely need you to be successful after this program. And then on top of that, it's more than just an 8-week program because we're giving you 12 months of membership in our Level Up Inner Circle. That's what we do online nowadays instead of clapping, right? So when you're muted, you can see. And I think that's the ASL for applause. Someone put that in the chat. Let me know. 12-month membership in our exclusive online learning community. We want your business to succeed. So we're going to follow up DMAIC, Lean Six Sigma DMAIC. You know, go through all the thing. And the C at the end of DMAIC, it's a process of problem solving, is control. We want to control the solution for you. We want to check in on you. We want to say, hey, Steve, how's your pump manufacturing business going? Hey, how is your granite quarry / retail granite and wholesale granite sales going? Let us know. Right? Guys, it has been an absolute honor and a pleasure speaking with you today. I'm Corey from Level Up Business Mastery, and this has been Automation and Delegation. Guys, have a wonderful day.